we completed a couple of trades over the last few days. We traded Paul Sewald to the Detroit Tigers for a player to be named later or cash considerations, and then completed a trade with the Toronto Blue Jays in which we sent Shane Bieber in return for Cal Steven. I'll start with the trade for Shane. Obviously, it's a very difficult one for us. As everyone knows, we really appreciate all of Shane's contributions to our organization and his time with us. We appreciate the fact that he trusted us to help him continue on his path back to being a successful Major League starting pitcher, and are grateful at the impact that he made along the way. But we're also really excited to be able to add Cal Steven to our organization. Cal's a 6'4" right-handed pitcher from Mississippi State out of the draft last year. In fact, we did our best to try to select him, but just didn't have that opportunity. So we're excited to add him to the organization. He's currently rehabbing from a minor shoulder injury, but should be back pitching likely at the AA level before the end of the season. And another guy we're excited to add to our organization, to add to our upper level starting pitching depth. And I think that's it in terms of things to share, but would be happy to answer any questions.
Chris, I guess just how much, if at all, did the Class A news situation, Ortiz news and situation impact your guys' direction at this trade deadline?
Yeah, there are a lot of different considerations, Tim, that we had to weigh around this time of year. The unexpected developments recently were certainly one of them, but in the end, I think we feel good about the roster that we have for the balance of 2025 and are excited about our future.
Chris, how close did you come to trading Stephen Kwan?
I think the best way to share that, Joe, is, and this I actually talked to Stephen a little while ago and shared the same thing, was that what I can confirm for Stephen is that not only do we have a profound appreciation for what he's able to contribute on the baseball field and in the clubhouse, but so does the rest of Major League Baseball. But we are really excited that he will continue to be with us moving forward. Jeff, you have to come off mute, Jeff. Jeff, you're still on mute.
Sorry about that. So how did you react, though, when you saw all these closers going all over the place here at the deadline? And, you know, because of that investigation, you couldn't do anything with Class A if you wanted to.
I didn't react at all, really, Jeff. I think, as I shared the other day, our focus is to move forward, which is, you know, make the next best decision for the Cleveland Guardians in our future.
Chris, what do you think of your playoff possibilities now coming out of the trade deadline?
I'm not sure that they're materially different, Paul. What I would share is we continue to believe in the group of players that are here, not just at the major league level, but players that we think can possibly contribute from the upper levels to our minor league system. So hopefully we play our best baseball from here on out and make things interesting heading into September.
Chris, you mentioned that you were pretty interested in Cal Steven when he was coming out of college. What did you specifically like about him as a college pitcher, and what has impressed you about his development so far as a professional?
There's lots to like with Cal. First and foremost, he's a big physical starting pitcher with a good frame. He's got a very deep arsenal of pitches. It's a 5-pitch mix. He recently this year added a split finger fastball that's added another element to his game. And we think he's a guy that's capable of not only logging innings at the major league level, but pitching pretty effectively. So we'll be excited to continue to partner with Cal in his development as he progresses towards that end.
Chris,
Are you confident that it's just a minor injury with him, Chris? Sorry about that, Joe.
Yes, it's a shoulder impingement. Right. So he's already back throwing, not yet in games, obviously, but he is back throwing. He will continue his rehab with us out in Arizona.
If he's healthy enough to...
Go ahead, Paul.
Chris, if he's healthy enough to get back and join an affiliation, where would you think he'd end up?
Likely Double A. He made one start in Double A. He had pitched really well in High A and was promoted to Double A prior to having that shoulder discomfort. So he would likely join Akron once he's ready to go.
Chris, Kwan was saying this week that he kind of understands how things work here as far as in-season extension talks go, contracts, more of a spring training thing. I guess philosophically, is that what he was saying, kind of how the organization goes? Is it something you guys prefer to do in spring training versus in-season?
We don't have any hard and fast rules, Tim, about that. But what we found oftentimes is that when you try to explore contract extensions during the season, it can be a distraction. So that's why we've typically preferred for that to happen in the off season or in spring training. Any other questions?
Chris,
Chris, go ahead, Zach.
how do you scout for the Twins tomorrow?
We have a lot of work to do to reacclimate ourselves with what their roster will be. So more to come on that. Zach, do you have something?
No, that was the
Joe?
question that was along the lines of the question I was going to ask.
Okay. Sorry, I can't fully see everybody on the screen. So,
Chris, I had one more. You talk about
Yeah.
players in the organization, upper levels, minors. Like, how do you guys view someone like CJ Kafis? Because looking at the numbers with Columbus and the box scores, it looks like he's been playing more outfield or a steady dose of it in July. So just kind of where is he in that realm of learning how to play outfield and in terms of making himself a big league candidate?
yeah, Tim, I'm glad you asked. As I shared before, CJ's made great progress this year in his continued development as a player, both with his progression offensively, but now defensively, where he's added some versatility. So we've talked about this, a few times in the past. The more positions players can play capably, the better chances they'll have to impact the major league team. And CJ's among that group of players in Columbus that we think has a chance to help us in the second half.
Chris, you mentioned you guys liked Cal Steffen last year a lot in the draft, or Steven, sorry. You guys also acquired Josh Hartle in the offseason. It's just an extra amount of due diligence last year in the draft because of your position, or just individual cases with these players?
We try to have a lot of information on a lot of players as we go through the draft process. We're only able to select, up to 20 or 23 of those players, depending upon, comp picks and other things. So, but we do work on a lot more than that. And that was the case with both Josh and Cal.
Chris, what was the experience like talking to teams about Shane Bieber and just the process of trying to deal a player who is still going through his rehab?
I think with the way information has progressed over the course of the last 10 or 12 years, teams were able to get a really good feel of where Shane was in his rehab progression. They were able to, not only get the video, but get all the pitch metrics in addition to having, maybe some scouts. So I think that there were teams that, felt good about where Shane was in his rehab and what the path for him might be moving forward.
Chris, when did trade talks with Toronto start or really intensify?
Oh boy. I think with all teams, we probably had some initial check-ins back towards the end of June, early July. And then those talks kind of have some ebbs and flows to them leading up to the deadline. And then, there's a bit of a lull when the draft happens and the frequency picks up after that. But as Shane was progressing through his rehab, Russ continued to reach out and check in and express interest.
Chris, was there any money? Did you have to send any money to Toronto on this deal with Bieber?
No. Any other questions?
Chris, what did you like about Carlos Hernandez?
He's got a power arm with really good stuff. I think what we'll try to do is partner with Carlos to help translate that stuff to more consistent performance. But there's some great ingredients there to work with. Anything else? All right, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for joining.